You know what I'm really pushing for is actually a plant graveyard because I feel like it'd be nice to know how many plants I've killed over time. And I feel like that's a little bit of fun too. But
Welcome to Greenhouse Success Stories. Tune in every week as we share conversations with growers, operators, and innovators from around the world, providing insight into what's working in their greenhouses. We discuss firsthand experiences and provide insights into how these farms are succeeding and thriving. Special thanks to our title sponsor, Arnois Greenhouse, with your host, founder of Little Greenhouse That Could, Trina Semenchuk.
Welcome to Greenhouse Success Stories, everyone. Today's episode will be featuring Tom Van Wingerden. Tom is the sales director at Van Wingerden Greenhouses. Welcome to the show, Tom.
thank you, Trina. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm glad you made time for the show. So just to get this episode started, how we, usually get these episodes started is we really want to hear, about your story. I know you're the sales director at Van Wingerden Greenhouses. How did you get to where you are today, and where did you first start when it comes to the greenhouse industry?
Yeah, sure. So I feel like being a Van Wingerden, I'm almost part of a bigger story because the Van Wingerden family has kind of settled all over North America. But my dad originally moved out to Washington State in just before 1980, so like the late 70s, and he was helping his cousin build a greenhouse out in Eastern Washington. And he met my mom, and he wanted to kind of settle down somewhere else that wasn't too close to other greenhouses so he can build his own. And he ended up moving across the mountains to Blaine, Washington, picked a little spot over here and started building with his brother. So that's how Ben Wingerden Greenhouses was born. And he then married my mom and started, growing plants and raising children. We've got 11 siblings
Oh,
now, so
wow.
pretty large
Big.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he wanted to hire anybody. I think it was just all child labor at the time. So, but we had a really nice upbringing here. So we grew up right next to the greenhouse. We could wander in and out as we pleased. Uh, we trusted everybody that worked here, and it was a you know, great way to raise a family. And we're doing it, more and more because now there's five of us are now active in the business with my dad now. And we also have children that bounce around the greenhouse a bit. So it's, we're continuing the fun. And we've grown from, let's see, the first house he built was probably about a half an acre, and now we're up to about 15 acres of greenhouse growing space, and we've got some outdoor growing space as well. In the Pacific Northwest, we don't grow a ton outside because it rains so much, so we tend to grow everything indoors. But yeah, that's kind of who we are and how we got here.
That's cool. When you guys were kids, like, were you ever playing around in the greenhouse, like, as kids, or was it very much like off limits? You're just in there when you're working, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I think when we were younger, we definitely played a lot. We weren't very productive children, I wouldn't say, but playing in the soil pile. And I remember one incident was planting poinsettias. We always had those little Oasis plugs with the poinsettias, and for all the extras or the ones that weren't rooted real well, we'd have Oasis fights through the day. Well, at the end of the day, the kids wouldn't clean up, the employees would. So
Oh.
they always give us a hard time about that. But we don't do that anymore.
And where are you in the chain? Are you like the youngest, or are you somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, I'm in the forgotten middle, so I'm the
Oh,
fourth oldest. And once you
oh,
get past, I think it's the oldest two and the youngest two. Those are the important ones. Everybody in between is kind of just filler.
yeah. And are there any twins?
Yeah, one set of twins.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
They're
Yeah.
they're just younger than me, so they're smack in the middle of the family.
That's a big family. When did you officially like start working at Van Wingerden greenhouses? And did you ever like try to pursue something outside of the family business or outside of the greenhouse industry as a whole?
Yeah, that's a good question because I always regret a little bit not trying more things, like doing different internships or venturing out a little bit. Not so much that I wanted to get out of the industry, but more to gain a little bit more, I guess, experience in the outside world, right? Because this is all I know. Our industry is really all I know. I was briefly a blueberry farmer,
Mhm.
which I'm not sure if that's really a different industry, but it was a little bit different, and that was fun.
Mhm.
It was owned by the business, so it was just another part of what we did.
Oh,
And yeah, blueberries was awesome. I mean, the only bad part was like pruning blueberries, which is out in the cold and during the winter, so it'd be raining and freezing.
you guys were just doing that like outside, like not within a greenhouse?
Yeah, no, that was just field grown blueberries. Yep, just traditional. Grow them, harvest them, sell the fruit, do it again. So pretty common in this area for blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. So we tried our hand at it. We developed a nice field and sold it, and it was a fun experience. But we decided to stay focused on the greenhouses. It didn't overlap like perfectly with our greenhouse business. So we thought what we would do is be really busy during the spring in the greenhouse, transition outside to the blueberries during the summer with harvest and everything, and then transition back into the greenhouse for fall and poinsettia season and kind of rinse and repeat. But there was just times where it was like, well, I should be growing the blueberries during the spring, but I have to work in the greenhouse all day, so I'm gonna be in
Mm.
the blueberries at night, and it ended up kind of compounding on top of each other. So we decided it wasn't focused enough, so we just walked away basically. But it was good. It was a great experience.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever anyone's growing like some type of berry or some type of fruit, I'm always super interested just because I feel like it's not the norm. So when you got like how long ago was it that you guys tried the blueberries?
That was, let's see, I think we sold it about 10 years ago. And well, maybe a little bit less than that. But it was right after I was running the farm right out of college. So it was kind of my first role was managing the farm. It was a good step into the business world for me, right? And it kind of got my feet wet. It was a very simple operation, so it wasn't like a huge lift for me to run the farm right out of college. And yeah,
Mhm.
then it was an easy transition into the greenhouse after that.
And what did you go to college for?
It was a business or no, what was it? I don't know. Just to have fun, I think.
Oh,
No, I got a degree in business management. So it's a
okay.
bachelor's degree. It took me a long time to finish college, which everybody kind of makes fun of me for. But I had a bunch of surgeries during college. So I was on crutches a lot of the time.
Mm.
And so it took me about 7 years to get a 4 year degree, which I'm not particularly proud of. But
Hey, but you should
I
I
finished
mean,
it.
yeah, exactly. You didn't quit. It took me like almost 4 years to do a 2-year master's degree because I
Oh,
was,
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
I
don't
was
feel bad
doing
at all.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. But you didn't quit, which was what counts. So what does Van Wingerden greenhouses currently sell today? Maybe just give a bit more information on your guys' like day-to-day operations.
Yeah, so currently we're mostly selling to grocery in our wholesale division, and that includes companies like Safeway Albertsons, some independents, Trader Joe's, grocery outlet, Whole Foods. So, pretty diverse customer base, I would say. And the reason for that is we've had incidences in our past where we didn't have a diverse customer base, and then events happened that kind of sucked the life out of us.
Mm,
So we've kind of learned to be a little bit more less focused on single customers and more focused on fewer products, if that makes sense. So fewer products, more customers, easier to control.
mhm.
So we've got that side of the business, and then we've got our young plants division, which is mostly working with Ball Seed. We're a gold supplier for them, and our region for with them is the Pacific Northwest and Western Canada. So we've done, and that's kind of I like to call that our foundation because it's a very stable, predictable part of the business that we can rely on every year, and we're very much in control of inventory. We've got processes that are very clean and well practiced here. So that's a that's a very stable part of the business. And then we have our garden center as well. And our garden center, it's seen a lot of growth in the past 10 years. We're not located in like a big populace or anything, but we've been able to build it up into a decent sized garden center. And we'd really like to do more of that. We love the interaction with customers and having more control over where our plants are going and when they're going there. And yeah, it's a very stable garden center at the moment, and we think we can replicate it elsewhere. Part of that is our fundraiser program, which is a little bit shared between the garden center and our wholesale division. So we sell things like hanging baskets to fundraisers, and then the local fundraisers can actually sell coupons instead. And then when they sell those will be redeemed in our garden center. And this way, it's almost like a marketing effort where we're able to get people in the door that we would otherwise never meet. And so
Mm.
that's been a really successful part of our business as well.
And when did you start, like, partnering with people for fundraisers and, getting these hanging baskets? Like, when have you started to notice that this method was really attracting more customers to your guys' garden center?
Yeah, so I think we've had a fundraiser program for probably 15, maybe 20 years, but it hasn't become a real serious part of the business until more recently. And the reason for that is it's very hard to organize. So a lot of times a fundraiser group will sign up, but it's a new organizer, say, at the school or, somebody at the that's running the band boosters or whatever it is. And so teaching them how to run their fundraiser and then also making sure they're organized on their end is half the effort.
Mm.
And so what ended up happening is we'd add more people to kind of train these organizers, and then it wouldn't really help us advance the program because it's costing us more and more
Mhm.
every time we add an
Okay.
organization. So it really was difficult to kind of get that growth out of that program
Mhm.
without adding employees. What we ended up doing is started developing software to help us do this, and that's kind of a new part of the business is our software business called Plant Buy, and that has helped us a lot in our fundraiser program. Just one person can manage the entire thing. All the communication comes out of one place. All of the organizations are living in one piece of software. And then they can also kind of pick up the ball. Even if they're a new organizer, they can pick it up from where it was left off last year without having to relearn
Oh, that's
anything.
great.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever run a fundraiser yourself, but it's very confusing when you first start. I've done a few for my kids' school, and I do the golf tournament for my kids' school, and I don't know why. I feel like every year after we're done, I'm like, okay, now we got to figure it out. Next year it's going to be easy. It's just kind of plug and play. And
Mhm.
every year it's like the day before the tournament, we're like, we don't have anything ready. Like, we got
Oh,
work to do.
goodness.
So it kind of sneaks up on you. And I think it's because it's not your job, right? It's like
Mhm.
all these organizers have a job, or, say it's even if it's a stay at home mom, like she's
Mhm.
busy, doesn't have
Mhm.
time to like, you know, organize this fundraiser every day. So it's just not a focus. And then it kind of goes on the back burner until it has to be done. And then
Mhm.
jump in and help. So the software has helped a ton with that.
So whose idea was it for the software? And where did the idea like come from? Just tired
Yeah.
of organizing or, wanting to make things easier for people? Maybe talk a bit more about how PlantBuy got started.
I think it really came out of necessity, right? Because we
Mhm,
wanted to grow the program. We knew the program was something that we could build into a bigger part of the business,
mhm,
but we didn't have the tools to do so. And so Brian Prosser, our partner in PlantBuy, he was working in house at the time, and we'd kind of throw ideas back and forth together, just on what we would imagine the perfect software would look like.
mhm.
And then slowly, like little pieces of it would come together, and like, yeah, that looks like it will work. And then just over time, we were able to develop it to a point where we could use it. And that was probably 2 years ago now. We first started using it, and definitely trying to onboard every single organization we possibly can now, just because it's so much simpler for the greenhouse. It like for, on the greenhouse side of the business, it makes a lot more sense because we don't have to deal with cash or checks. We don't have loose papers floating everywhere. Like if you send a team of 20 kids out to start selling hanging baskets and they all come back with a pile of cash and some paperwork that, have their handwriting all over it, it's a little bit scary to think like, okay, I think we got the order right, and then you deliver it all, and then their customers have to come pick up the baskets, and yeah, it happens quite frequently that you're missing a few pieces of information. So this helps the kids just sell, and then all the information comes in, through the software, and we don't have to worry about it.
So is it like when a kid goes to sell a hanging basket, if someone agrees to buy, they like click a button on the software and then that's how it's automatically updated? Is that part of the process?
Yeah, it's just so the consumer, if you want to call them that, or the
Mhm,
the donator, they'll buy the basket through a website, and
mhm.
it'll have actually the seller's name on it.
Oh, okay.
So, like my daughter's name is Daisy, so she'll go out
Aw.
and sell a basket, and Daisy will get credit for selling that basket, and then that will go to whatever group she's selling for. So
Oh, yeah,
then
that's easy.
yeah, and then at the end, like that group can say, "Oh, Daisy, you sold 20 baskets, and Maya, you sold 12, and okay, you guys get rewarded for this because you did so good." And so there's a little bit of competition in there too that helps.
So when you guys were thinking about how to make, the fundraiser part of your business easier so that you could scale, did you try to see if there was an existing software or app that was already out there, or did you go straight to creating your own?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
no,
I
we
figured.
definitely looked for an existing solution, but and there's other solutions out there, but what they're mostly focused on is creating kind of a seller's website where the organization can set up their own website with a sales side to it. But nobody built anything for, say, the manufacturer or the greenhouse. So we think this is much stronger because it's organized all the way up at the manufacturer, and then it flows through all the way to the donator. So all that information is compiled back up to the greenhouse. And it's for the greenhouse, it solves cash flow because you're
Okay.
getting all of the money that comes in actually goes to the greenhouse. So then it comes into your bank account. You're getting paid before you even produce them. Then you ship them and you bring a check to the organization to pay them, to give them their margin or the donation amount that the consumer gave them. So then the organization is happy because they're able to take in all of this money, but never have to handle it. So
Yeah.
right, I mean, it's like
Yeah,
it's so
that's
risky and things are flying everywhere. So it's really nice to be able to just say, "Oh, here's your check for $2,500. That's what you made on this fundraiser, and here's
mhm.
all the baskets." And they're like, "Thank you, bye,"
Yeah.
and they put it in the bank and hand out the baskets, and they're done. It's very
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah, that does actually sound really simple. Just a few more questions, but when you first started Plant By, how many organizations did you have signed up for it like in the first year? And how many do you have now? Like what has the growth been over that last 2 years?
So let's see. So for Van Wingerden greenhouses, we had I think like only 20 of them were signed up for the first fundraiser season, and that was a poinsettia season.
Okay.
And then for spring, I think we went up to like 100, and then now we're over 200.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's definitely
Doubled.
added up fast.
That
Yeah.
must feel really rewarding thinking about, okay, how can we solve this problem and scale this sector of the business and then have to put in the effort and
Oh,
the time to plan for the app, but it worked. And
yeah. No,
mhm.
it feels so. And we've been, just because we just started using it,
Uh-huh.
that's like just a tiny piece of the story. Like we've been talking about this for 10 plus years. And it's finally like, oh, we're doing it. This is working.
Yeah.
And it's just takes the work out of it. And working with fundraisers can be really fun too, because they're they're not like I don't want to sound negative about like the retail space, but when you deliver something to a big box store, are the people receiving always thrilled to be receiving plants? No. So a lot of them are, and
Uh-huh.
I hope they're finding some joy in it, here and there. But with fundraisers, it's very rare that they're not excited to receive plants and spread their plants out to the people they sold them to. Like
Yeah.
it's a very positive part of the business. It's a lot like having a garden center, right? I mean, most people walk in your garden center and they're just excited to be there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interacting with people that are joyful or excited to see you
Mhm.
is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. In your guys' garden center, I'm just curious because I've always thought it'd be great to have like a greenhouse, somewhere downtown in the city where it was all year round and you could buy your plants, but also it was like a coffee shop and you could like spend time in there. Do you guys have any of that in
Oh man.
your
You are preaching to the choir. I have
Okay.
been wanting a coffee shop in our garden center forever. I met my wife at a coffee shop. She was a barista. So
Aw.
we always talk about it. It's like, man, it's everybody walks in here holding a coffee or a drink of some kind. And
Yeah.
then they walk around and they hang out in the garden center and hopefully they buy something too. But it is a nice environment just to be in there. So
Mhm.
why wouldn't you offer them, a few drinks here and there anyways, but we don't have
Yeah.
that. There was a really nice one down in Woodinville. It was called Molebacks. That was a pretty popular place, and they had a really cool cafe down there in
Okay.
in the middle of like a jungle, basically. So they had all their house plants around it. It was really cool.
And was it popular? Like, was it a popular place for people to go to?
Yeah, it was the premier garden center in Washington State.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think
The
the
business model is
land.
proven.
What's that?
The business model is proven.
Yeah, don't fight it. The land they were on was kind of prime real estate. So I don't know what all happened, but they
Mhm.
ended up tearing it down. I think it was last year or the year before. And yeah, it's no more, but we remember it. So, and we used to sell to Molbacks and we loved going there. It
Mhm.
was beautiful. They did a really good job.
Okay, one last question about Plant Buy, but I know you guys created it to solve your own internal issue. Do you plan on coming up with some sort of subscription model that other greenhouses can sign up and use Plant Buy as well? Or will it just always stay a Van Wingerden internal, tool?
Yeah. So we're looking for as many guinea pigs as will come our way. So
Okay.
um, we the original intent was to create. Well, the original intent was to solve the problems we had with our fundraiser program. But in doing so, we were like, we know this is kind of normal. Like most greenhouses are looking for a solution. Plus, we want to be a solution for the fundraiser groups too.
Mhm.
So why don't we create a site where any greenhouse can join, or manufacturer for that matter, and we can actually become a network for the fundraisers to find opportunities on there.
Mhm.
So what we're hoping to do is continue to add greenhouses or other organizations to the Plant Buy website. They can operate and use our software to help organize their business as well. And then a fundraiser, when they're looking for something new to sell or looking for a new opportunity to make money, they can come to us, find somebody that's nearby so they don't have to, search just random greenhouse in, I don't know, Paris, Texas, or whatever, wherever we are at the moment. And they can just find whoever is working in their near vicinity. So then just kind of solves some problems for the greenhouse, solves problems for the fundraiser groups, and become like a nice one-stop shop for everybody.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, that's really good to know. Already thinking of a few people that I want to reach out to about this because I think that they
And
yeah, run fundraisers for plant sales very similar to what you are talking about.
yeah,
Um
we'd love to get more people on there because we really need feedback to make it so that it works for everybody too. Right now, we know it works for us, so we need to know if it works for everybody else too.
mhm, mhm. Can you tell a story about a challenging time, working in Van Wingerden? So, I know you talked about the challenges with scaling up the fundraiser sector of your business, but did you guys ever have any challenges with selling, your core products or securing markets for your core products? Did the pandemic affect you in any way, shape, or form? Just tell us something really challenging that popped up in your time.
Mhm. Yeah, and I touched on this earlier, but the most challenging time in our business was when we were producing for a big box store and they decided to consolidate all of their plant needs with one grower.
Oh.
So it was about, I don't remember how much of our business was going their way, but it was like 80% of our wholesale division at the time. That's kind of just a guess, but
Mhm.
it was around there. And so they essentially just emptied our greenhouse for the next spring, and we had to decide, well, okay, do we try to produce as much as possible and hope we can find the customers for it, or do we just produce what we know we can sell?
Mhm.
And either way was kind of a loss, right? Because you have all this infrastructure built, you have the employees, you really need to operate and be and fill to capacity to have a chance at making money.
Mhm.
So that's what we did. We produced as much as we could or as
Mhm.
much as we dared the next spring. And it was tough times. I mean, we definitely did not sell everything that spring. And it took us years to come back, right?
Wow.
It wasn't like an easy thing to fix. So
Mhm.
slowly we started adding, it was hardware store before this, but we started adding grocery at that point because that was the business that we thought would be less risky
Mhm.
and it's something we really fit into. And so one thing my dad did at the time was patent a his own display rack, so a shipping rack that also displays. And we're still using that rack today, and it's shorter and it's shorter than a normal shipping rack, and the shelves tip out into a display for the stores, and it gives the plants more light, more airflow, plus it gives the customer a better view of the plants. So we kind of leaned on that and on the grocery industry to build our business back. And we're, you mentioned the pandemic. That was obviously a good year for us. I think there was a time when we all sat down and looked at each other like, do we keep growing plants or is this like, the apocalypse? But like, well, we have a plan in place. Let's execute and assume that everything will be okay.
Oh my
And
gosh,
that's
I
what we
would be
did.
there
And it was,
saying, "We gotta grow our own food." Yeah, abort.
yeah, yeah. It was. I mean, it's weird to think back to that time, right?
Mhm.
Because we didn't know it was coming. In hindsight, we're like, yeah, produce all the plants you can. And, everybody was trying to grow everything at home and
Mhm.
do what they could to survive, you know, without going on vacations and things like that. So, but at the time we looked at it like, well, we had everything ready to go. When did it hit? Like end of March,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. It was
Mhm.
like during like peak production time. I remember that, and we were planting heavily, and it was like the end of a week. And we're like, do we just stop planting? We don't know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
And luckily, we did not do that. We produced everything we could, and yeah, that year and the following year were really good for us. So
Yeah, you saw an increase in sales.
mhm,
Yeah.
big time,
Yeah.
yeah. That was probably one of the best years on record. And we've fallen off a little bit from that as far as volume goes, but if you draw a straight line from 2010 to now, that COVID year was a huge spike in business, but we're definitely still increasing overall. So
Mhm.
it's a net positive for our business for sure.
Mhm. What do you see as the vision, like, for growing Van Wingerden? Like, what
Ooh.
would be the vision for growth?
Yeah. So for the future, like we've put a lot of eggs in one basket. Actually, well, in a particular basket, I'll say. We've partnered with an e-commerce company called Plantsome, and
Okay.
yeah, you might be familiar with them. They've been in Canada for I think almost 6 years now.
Okay.
And last year we invested in their company and started fulfilling in the US. But, to run a successful e-commerce company, you really need deep pockets and you need to be able to advertise consistently
Mhm.
with Google and Facebook and things like that.
Yeah. Do you guys
So
have, like, an Instagram page too?
we do.
Okay.
Yes. I do not run it. So, for good reason. I'm
Everyone
not
has
the
their
creator.
skills.
But they've done a really good job on that end. And what we've tried to do in the last, I'd say, year is create more of a retail brand for them or with them, and they've done a really good job around that. We're not in any spaces in a big way yet, but we'd really like to make a push for that. And we've also got another partner in that business called Green Trade, and they're working with some different companies in Southeast Asia, just finding specific varieties and getting exclusives on different foliage plants. So that's going to be really interesting because we're able to then kind of select these different varieties that will be really desirable in retail
Mhm.
and say that we're the only ones that carry this. We know you need this in your stores. Carry the Plantsome brand because
Uh-huh.
we're plant people and we love it and you're going to love it and it is going to go well. So now a piece of the Plantsome brand is the Plantsome app. So they have a plant care app that
Is
we're,
it called Plant Care?
it's called Plantsome.
Oh, no, okay, sorry, it's the Plant Care app.
Yeah, it's just called Plantsome.
Oh, it's still in Plantsome.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, everything's Plantsome.
okay, okay,
That's the only word you need to know. But
okay. And Plant By.
yeah, that's right. And plant
Inspired
by.
by Plantsome.
So with Plantsome, the how we're really trying to position ourselves in retail is to say we can go home with you to take care of your plants so that you don't kill them. You're buying the right plants to be around your pets or children.
Oh.
Um, you're putting it in the right place. It's not too bright or too dark for this plant. You're fertilizing it at the right times. So it's kind of helping with buyer apprehension in a way
Mhm, mhm,
to say, hey, it's okay. Like you can buy this monstera and bring it home, and we'll help you take care of it. You're not in this alone. And I'm not really scared of bringing plants home because I have an unlimited supply, right?
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't really matter. I can kill them as fast as I can supply them.
Mhm.
But for most people, they don't have the luxury of having a wholesale greenhouse in their backyard. So when they buy a plant and then they, it could be $100 plant, set it in the corner, and then it dies 3 weeks later, they're like, "Oh, I'm not doing that again. That
Yeah.
was a waste of money." So what we're trying to do is help them be successful
Mhm.
with their plants at home, no matter what plant it is.
Yeah, these are
And yeah, go
go
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this is a good idea.
Thanks. It's
Mhm.
all my idea, but I'll take some of the
Mhm.
credit. Yeah, no, it's a really cool team. Kevin, one of the founders, he moved back to Holland right now, but his background is in ecom, and he's a super creative guy, and he's got a couple other creatives in his company as well that have been doing a phenomenal job. So if you see the Plantsum tags, they'll have like little sayings. I don't have any handy right here, but just cute little sayings on the tags that are more for fun, right?
Mhm.
It's not just informational. It's kind of having fun with it rather than just giving you the name of the plant. And
Mhm.
IDing the plant is important to us, so we
Mhm.
do have ID, like identification of the plant on every pot, but it's kind of done in a fun way.
Just out of curiosity, for the plant care side of things, like how does that work? Do people, they buy the plant on Plantsum and then is it just like a manual, like a downloadable PDF that is supplied with the plant that's like a care guide? Or is there like some type of function where like people can actually take a picture of their space and
Yeah.
then the plant care app will be like, oh, place the plant here because this is the amount of sunlight you're getting in this spot. Like how detailed is the care side of things?
Yeah, can I show you? I have it
Yeah.
on my phone right here. So, let's see. So, it's telling me welcome back, and I haven't watered or fertilized any of my plants, so it's telling me I need to do that right here.
Okay.
And then I can go see my plants, and oh, that's not coming through very well. Can you see that?
I could see a couple of plants. Yeah.
Anyways, so it lays them out. So I have 4 plants in my mud room. It says, and I'll click on it, and it says, "Oh, this was a Phlebodium aureum, so it's a blue star fern. I named him Blue because
Okay.
I'm that creative."
Mhm.
And the care, so it gives me a watering schedule. Says to water it every once a week, and 9.3 fluid ounces, and fertilize every 60 days.
Okay.
So, and then it gives me the history as well. So it says I fertilized on September 30, watered on September 19, and then I don't need to read all those out to you,
Mhm.
but, and then it has a notes section where I can leave notes, and it has an info section where I can find all the information on it, how much light it's getting, the pot size it's in, the room it's in, how much water it should be getting. Yeah. And then I can add new plants anytime in any room. So that's pretty cool. And then there's a calendar view too. So then you can just see, your work list for the next month. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. So when it comes to like tracking watering and fertilizer, like the user just puts that in as they're doing it, right? Like I would guess.
Yeah, you just confirm. So
Yeah.
it's like checking something off a list.
This
So uh, it tells you this, I need water. So go water me. And then you
Mhm.
water it, and you hit that you did it. Right.
Mhm.
And if you don't do it, it'll tell you the next day you forgot to water me.
Mhm.
Water me, please.
And
Yeah, and
so
it's got fun little things in there like that, like little sayings and stuff too. So it's not just boring water fertilizer.
I like that you can name the plants.
Yeah.
I think that's something that people will really have fun with.
What I'm really pushing for is actually a plant graveyard, because I feel like it'd be nice to know how many plants I've killed over time. And I feel like that's a little bit of fun too. But that's what I've asked for that. I don't think it's high on the priority list, but I'm
Oh,
hoping
I think
in
that's a good
the future.
yeah, I think, anytime that I talk about houseplants with people, they either have them or they don't. And the reason usually being because they kill them. So
Yep.
I think the graveyard would probably resonate well with most people who don't have houseplants, which would be more
Plant killers.
incentive for them to try again. Be like,
Right.
okay, at least if I kill this time, I'll be able to remember that I've always
Yeah. Yeah. Or
what I
maybe
did.
maybe if you had a graveyard and it started getting too big, maybe the app could tell you which plants you should be buying because what you're doing isn't working.
Right. Like
I feel
go
like
with a
that would be
speculant.
helpful. Yeah, that's right. Snake plants only.
For this Plantsum app, like if people, how does the business model work for that? Like, what if you bought a plant not through Plantsum? Can you register that plant on the Plantsum app? And is there a fee for the Plantsum app if you aren't buying plants from the Plantsum app? How does that
Yeah,
all work?
yeah. Good question. So you can put any plant on there. It's not it doesn't have to be bought from Plantsum. And we still like that because we're learning on my end, I'm learning what people are putting on the app and what they have in their houses, that's what I should be growing. So, you know, if
Mm.
90% of the market is snake plants, then obviously I have to grow more snake plants. So kind of seeing a better picture of what the consumer market looks like, I think is important to us as a grower. And
Hmm.
that's a big reason why I got involved in Plantsum to begin with, is we were kind of just throwing darts at a board as far as what we needed to be producing.
Hmm.
So what
Hmm.
we wanted to see is, okay, what's the consumer saying? Because we know what we're saying, we know what our customers are saying at retail, but what's the consumer saying? And I think if we can find ways of getting more information from the consumer, it can drive us to make better decisions in the greenhouse as far as what our product mix looks like.
Yeah. These that makes a lot of sense. And a really
Thanks.
yeah, and a really good idea as well. So then I guess like your vision of growth is you hope to scale up sales, like you hope that Plantsum grows and then you guys grow with Plantsum. And I guess like that would help because Plantsum will tell you in which direction you should grow, like which plants you should grow as much. Like I guess what I'm asking is, do you think like this is your primary driver for growth moving forward?
Mm. No, but it's where I feel like we're putting a lot of effort behind Plantsum right now
Hmm.
because I see a lot of potential with it. Like
Hmm.
this is a brand that could easily translate into any store across North America. And I think it's fun enough that any store could put it in their stores and enjoy like the presence of Plantsum. And same
Hmm.
with their customers. So maybe it wouldn't fit in like I don't know, a random like stores that are really boutique. I don't think it would fit in there, but
Hmm.
it's like a fun and bright brand. So like in big box or in grocery, it's kind of an exciting kind of splashy look,
Hmm.
and it would fit pretty much anywhere. And I really want more growers involved too. So yes, I want to supply anybody in the Pacific Northwest that wants to buy Plantsum branded product, but we'd much prefer have a bigger network throughout North America
Ah.
because it needs to be fresher. Like you always
Uh-huh.
see, I'm pretty far from Florida. I'm about as far from Florida as you can get in the U.S. And
Uh-huh.
they're still shipping plants from Florida into Washington State,
Uh-huh.
and it shows, right? It's like we can do better as like the green industry. We
Mhm.
can supply plants from local suppliers anywhere.
Yeah. Do you have any, can you I guess, are you the only grower on Plantsum right now?
No, so myself, there's West Coast Floral in Surrey, British Columbia.
Okay, so you have a Canadian.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Plantsum started up there,
Oh,
so
really? Okay.
they're the fulfillment for Plantsum Canada, and then who else is involved? Let's see. There's another grower in Ontario, actually. Oh, what's his name again? His name's John. I know his name. His business name is slipping my mind though. I'll have to
Okay.
apologize to him about this because.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, sorry, John. It's my bad.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. How are you guys approaching, how are you getting new greenhouse growers on the Plants network right now? Like what's your method to reach out to greenhouse growers
Yeah.
to grow your network?
Yeah, so I guess the dream would be to get a large customer onboarded so that they can say, "Hey, all of my growers, you're now supposed to use the Plant Some brand and ship all this branded product to our stores." That way, it's kind of a pull through method where the customer is telling the grower what to grow and what brand to use. But we're also just networking with growers, going to trade shows.
Mhm.
We'll be at TPIE in January. So we'll have a booth there with Plant Some. And yeah, anybody that wants to grow Plant Some product can. We're not going to limit who this is available to. So that won't be really a barrier at all.
Mhm. Okay, we're coming up on the end of the edge of the hour. So I want to, of course, your experience with greenhouses started with you as a kid, which isn't, necessarily everyone's, history with the greenhouses. But I'm wondering, since you have so much experience being in the greenhouse industry, what advice would you give to anyone looking to start up, a
Mm.
greenhouse of their own or start growing or start being a grower themselves?
Yeah. I think it has to start with a love for plants. Like, I
Hmm.
don't think anybody gets into this industry because they want to make money.
Hmm.
Right? It's more about loving to grow plants and loving to be around plants. And then if they make money doing that, that's a great I mean that's the lifestyle we're looking for, right?
Hmm.
Doing something we love while
Hmm.
making money. So that's kind of the first thing I'd look at is just make sure you enjoy growing plants and being around plants because that's going to be your life.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think that's very practical. And last question that we always end off with, but what is your proudest moment as a grower?
Honest moment as a grower. Oh, it's a great question. This isn't as like being a grower, but
Mhm.
it's more on the sales side. But we used to grow and sell to a company called Rite Aid. It's a pharmacy company that recently went bankrupt, and which is unfortunate, but happens. And we worked with them before, probably in the 90s. We worked with them in the 90s, and then we moved away from them for maybe 10 to 15 years. And after after the incident I talked to you about earlier where we lost the big box store, we
Mhm.
approached them to say, hey, we've got a lot of space available, we'd love to grow for you again. And they really felt like we had walked away from them, and it didn't feel good, right? To them it didn't feel good, and it didn't feel good to us because really the relationship was damaged. And
Mhm.
over the next 5 years or so, my colleagues and I kept in contact with them and really tried to build back the trust and the relationship with them. And we did end up working with them again. And that day when we actually walked out of their office with that booking, that was a good feeling. So, and that was with my dad actually. So we walked out together and high-fived in the parking lot, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, that's a good moment. I think
Yeah.
I think too it really like highlights like yes, this is a, podcast on greenhouse success stories,
Yeah.
but really, greenhouse as a business is always about people and the relationships you
Oh
have.
yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I was just talking to somebody about that. It's like, plants are great and all, but you really need to know people
Yeah.
and you need to enjoy being around people. And that's those two things. It's like plants and people. You
Mhm.
need to love them both to be in this industry.
plants and people equals profit.
It's that simple.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time and for doing the show, Tom. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Trina. Appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Greenhouse Success Stories hosted by Trina Semenchek. Thanks to our guests who make this all possible. Special thanks to our title sponsor, Arnois Greenhouse. To read the full show notes for each episode, which includes an episode summary, key takeaways, and guest resources mentioned, please visit greenhousesuccess.com.